April.
There are 3 million company car drivers on the road who between them cover 37 billion miles a year on business. Armed with the standard kit of mobile telephone, electronic personal organiser, and of course the all-important bonus cards, a small hard core of these company car drivers has brought the job description of sales rep into disrepute.
Oh, yes, that's all on camera.
Observant motorists can easily identify the breed. It's coat hanger man.
Well, he's actually reading as he's going along. I've got the map.
Coat hanger man is so self-important he has no time to stop for directions.
You see the white bit?
He's always keen to get one step ahead, whatever the consequences. And of course, he keeps a very close eye on the competition. In his drive to achieve his sales targets, little distractions such as red lights pose no problem. But the only bonus this behaviour will win from the police is 3 penalty points on his licence and a heavy fine.
Would you go straight across the junction? I want to speak to you.
Continental coat hanger man goes to the same finishing school as his British counterpart. Here in Holland, this BMW driver is upset about a slower car pulling out in front of him and undertakes in an outrageously dangerous manoeuvre. But nobody is fast enough for this madman. He'll force his way in anywhere just to jump one place ahead. But coat hanger man thinks it's his duty to jump the queue, and any problems, of course, are never the fault of his own bad driving. Charming. High-performance company cars like this top-of-the-range Cavalier are the prime target of Britain's auto thieves. Here, the Chiltern Air Support helicopter has been brought in at the outset of a high-speed pursuit in Oxfordshire. Thames Valley Police are deploying a stinger in the road ahead to burst the tyres of the fleeing criminals. But the unit is not ready, and the car thieves evade the device by making a sharp right onto a housing estate in Banbury. Normally, speed bumps slow down motorists, but not these criminals, who gesture to the helicopter as they speed along, taunting their pursuers. Officers have now identified the passenger as an escaped prisoner who fled from custody 7 days ago after being arrested for car theft. Afraid of getting hemmed in by the heavy traffic, the car thieves decide to go off-road. With no thought for playing children, they try to turn the grass areas of the estate into an escape route. Now seriously worried about public safety, the police radio in for permission to halt the pursuit by force if necessary. With his door smashed, the driver climbs out of the sunroof, only to be stopped by a passerby. He's then arrested. The helicopter then tracks the passenger, the escaped prisoner, and radios his course to a backup patrol. Just as the thief thinks he's put enough distance between himself and the pursuing officers, the backup arrives from the other direction and makes the inevitable arrest. The passenger was sentenced to 2 years in a young offenders institution for a string of offences. The driver served 120 days in custody. In the past, locked brakes like this meant it was almost impossible to control your vehicle under heavy braking. But improved technologies like ABS, the anti-lock braking system, which is fitted to most modern cars, means that you should be able to keep control of your vehicle even in the most difficult of circumstances. Now, this special demonstration vehicle that I'm driving is fitted with the ability for me to switch the ABS off and on. We've just seen what happens with the ABS off. Now, if I switch it on and then approach the test point again and apply the brakes in just the same way, I should be able to avoid hitting the cones this time. Just like that. Now, the average coat hanger man doesn't realise that whilst ABS can give you total control over the vehicle like that, it doesn't normally mean that you can stop in a shorter distance. Watch the estate car on the left. Here, the driver's been recorded speeding at well over 80 miles an hour. Too fast to stop in this lay-by. And this police crew, answering an emergency call in the days before ABS, were only saved from colliding with a car by the special skills of their highly trained driver. Their relief is evident.
Here he comes, here somebody comes.
Camera operators monitoring the M4 near Heathrow Airport have warned this patrol of a car jumping the rush hour queue into London. The hard shoulder is strictly for emergencies and should never be used as an extra overtaking lane, however late you are. But the officers are amazed at the sheer cheek and crazy speed of the driver.
50 miles an hour.
Illegal use of the hard shoulder will normally net a driver an endorsement and a fine. But it seems not even a pursuing police car will stop this obstinate motorist in his dash to work.
Get out. Stop.
Oh, brain of Britain here.
Get the keys out, Chris.
He had a special reason not to stop. Despite the early hour, the man was found to be drunk. He was banned from driving for 6 years and fined nearly £2,000. The police never know when coat hanger man will pop up. Or, for that matter, coat hanger woman. In this instance, managing to eat her breakfast with no hands at all on the wheel.
The Tango 841 went behind the vehicle. Wallace down road towards Mount Batten. Speed in excess of 70. Following distance is 250.
A specialised police team has taken up the pursuit of a stolen car in Bournemouth.
Speed now is at 90 mph. Approaching Mount Batten roundabout.
As the police driver concentrates on the road ahead, his partner gives an unflustered commentary on the pursuit to his control room.
Down towards Dorset Way. Stand by. They've got him out in the footpath. Get out of the way!
Fresh from the showroom, this brand new car has been taken without permission by a woman's nephew who wanted to go shopping.
Yes, we're going to have to put a stop to this QC. He's narrowly avoided a second accident.
Police now believe the thief is a serious threat to public safety.
Back up to Castle Lane East. Cooper D now.
Officers report back that the damaged wheel has now forced the thief to slow down.
Happy to continue. It's going to be low speed now. He's got reduced power. The driver is a white male. The fair hair, we're now in front of the vehicle. He's wearing a denim jacket.
In a new tactic, they try to get other patrols to block the car's flight as sparks come from the ruined car, just a few days after it left the showroom in pristine condition.
Yes, we've got sparks coming up from his front near side. Onto the roundabout side, we go round. Head to head, somebody. We try and block. We're still coming back round. He's got... Looks like the car park back onto Castle Lane East and a left. Slow speeds now to 50 mph. Just only got a flat on the near side. Tesco's complex, we're taking a left.
But that original plan to go shopping has now been overtaken by a desire to escape. The thief takes the new car down a country lane, but it's a dead end.
Dead end over 50 mph.
Experience tells the officers the driver is going to try and abandon the car and run.
Yeah, 40 mph now. Continuing down the lane. Going to go for dump. I'll take a passenger. Going to dump.
The driver was captured in a nearby field and later sentenced to 1 year in jail. In part 2, how some drivers are turning Britain's roads into a battlefield. Airbags, impact bars, ABS. People feel so safe in their cars these days, they think they're driving around in a mobile fortress. But it's a false sense of security. Here in the Scottish Highlands on the banks of Loch Ness, Urquhart Castle's defences were considered impregnable, but they were breached 4 times in 12 years. But despite all of the improvements in car safety, in 1997, 3,599 people were killed on our roads and 324,000 were injured. And yet some people still drive around as if their cars were protected by 2-foot-thick walls. Motorways are some of the safest roads in Britain. But driving like this on the M1 in Hertfordshire endangers the lives of other road users as well as your own. It'll also earn you 6 points on your licence and a heavy fine for driving without due care and attention. Just like this driver, whose careful repositioning on the inside lane didn't fool the police. Forcing your way through heavy traffic at a junction is bound to attract attention.
Full brakes into the back. Go through that gap. Oh, thank you very much, my son.
The police are on constant alert for careless drivers. They have to be. In the 18th century, hand-to-hand combat was the accepted way of settling differences. It required force and aggression. Sadly, as our next clips show, all too many motorists act as if driving today was a modern-day duel. These two drivers, dueling in Denmark, seem intent on forcing each other off the road. Using their vehicles as weapons, both drivers refuse to give any quarter in this crazy combat. And their irresponsible actions could so easily have been a duel to the death. As could this encounter between these Swedish motorists. In the slow motion, see how close they are to crashing and killing the innocent and seemingly unknowing pedestrian. Back in Britain, some people think pure aggression is the best way to get in front. But what a choice for the innocent victim of this bully. Either move over or get rammed. He moves over. It's an attitude mirrored by this Danish driver. He continues to bully a path through the traffic, and in his extraordinary arrogance, he only looks ahead, failing to spot the police camera car on his tail. And even after he's signalled to stop, he thinks the police are after someone else. But like all bullies, when he's finally caught, it's all excuses and apologies. But it didn't wash with the police. Also oblivious to the police are these two drivers on the A13 in London.
Around the hills, 50 mile an hour plus, still sitting less than a car's length away from the escort in front of him. Can't really see that on camera, they're both playing a little bit. But the other escort, I think I've seen enough now. Put the Mickey Mouse out, please. Turn it on.
But both are spotted and fined. On the A1 in Yorkshire, this driver has been clocked at a seriously illegal 95.22 miles an hour. The police wait until he's passed a convoy of huge tank transporters before pulling him over. It's a stressful time, and in a fluster, the driver parks too close to the carriageway and forgets to use his mirror. Despite the accident, he was still charged with speeding and fined £40 with 3 penalty points. In the past, your status was determined by the size of your castle. But nowadays, it's engine size and make of car that seems to make all of the difference. But the average traffic officer is largely unimpressed by status. And whatever your size of engine, whatever your make of car, if you break the rules, he'll come after you. Just like the police on the M1, who spotted this speeding Mercedes up ahead. The officers have to track the luxury car for half a mile. Its average speed will then be recorded in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. 122.61 miles an hour.
Whenever you're ready.
Lima, Foxtrot, indicator left. Move in behind the vehicle, attempt to stop it now, switching on the blue.
The driver was taken down a peg when he was pulled over. His foolishness cost him dear, and he was banned from driving.
The hard shoulder.
Here in southwest London, several patrol cars are pursuing another Merc. The driver has refused to stop. He was spotted driving carelessly on the M3 and seems oblivious to the pursuing patrol cars. Driving recklessly through roadworks and other hazards, he's determined to ignore the police. He leads the officers up one side of the A316, takes them round the roundabout, and then back down the other side of the dual carriageway. But his reckless flight is slowed by the white lorry up ahead, who refuses to make way, and with other stationary drivers, halts the pursuit. Staggeringly, the driver is no joyrider. He's talking on the phone. It never pays to ignore the police. Failing to stop is an offence, leading to at least 3 points on your licence and a heavy fine. And finally, this driver on the M18 in South Yorkshire was deeply embarrassed when stopped for speeding. He told officers he was late for work because he'd literally been forced to remake and rebuild his bed after a new girlfriend slipped away with the keys.
Please release me, can't you see?
And police camera action is back at 8 to 9 on Saturday.